Welcome to our persevering agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, March 3rd, 2022, and this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 368. 368. A lot of calls under our belt, guys, and got a long way to go. I'll go around the horn. Bruce, you want to start with your usual and anything extra announcements that you might want to make?
Sure. Yep. So the usual, and you guys already kind of got a sneak peek if you were here before the recording started, is we are mid probate foundations. It feels like it came up really fast this month because it did. February was short. So yesterday we had our team building, marketing, and USP creation day for probate foundations. Today we're going to do role play and dialogue training, kind of what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. We're going to talk about that. And we had about a week ago we had a really good agent DNA class. We talked about the foundations of your business DNA. It is geared a little bit more toward real estate agents, but anyone that has a service that you're offering benefits from that. Sign up for this month's class. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be called DNA Mapping. We're going to break apart everybody's businesses, their goals, and talk about what your daily and weekly activities really need if you're going to see the success and hit the goals that you want to hit. So this is a really good class that's coming up. We're basically just trying to add more and more and more content and training in for you guys. We are far more than just a leads company. We're here to make sure that we help you see and achieve the success that you want in your businesses. And so we come from a training and coaching philosophy first, leads and services, leads and systems second. And it really makes a dramatic impact in the business of those that choose to work with us. And if you aren't a subscriber, a little pitch, I never do this. If you're not a subscriber and you want to benefit from not only leads, not only systems, but you want to benefit from coaching and training as well. I used to charge like $1,000 a month for the training alone. So if you're looking for a coach and you want to get the coaching, training, and leads as well, this is the place to come. So give us a shout. Let us know.
Awesome. And just real quick before I get to Chuck, I talk about a shameless pitch, but you two are what you're doing with the coaching. My background, I had a coach for the last 10 years of my real estate career. I don't think they existed back in the Stone Age when I first started selling, but and I was a coach for the last 10 years. And what Bruce and Chuck offer is hands down way better than anything that I paid $1,000 or charged people $1,000 a month for. It's not just cheerleading and, theory. It's extremely relevant, practical application of what works and how to make it work. So their stuff is, guys, I really mean this. If I were an agent today and I didn't want to work probate leads, I'd probably sign up with leads just so I could get all your coaching for free. So that's how good it is. If you guys aren't taking advantage of it, you're really missing out. Bruce, what would
Jim?
Yes, sir.
Did I gather out of that basically what you said is after listening to them, you realized you ripped people off for all those years?
No, we did the best we could with what we had at the time. And I could mute you. You were late, Tim. I can always mute you out. But thank you for that inspiring, kind words. Chuck, what would you like to add, sir?
Well, I think to piggyback onto that coaching perspective, I get the opportunity to speak with some really awesome people week in and week out. Many of the folks that are coming in, as you're signing up and you're getting started, whether you've done 50 probate deals or you haven't done a single one, and you're really looking at this as, hey, this could be a potential opportunity for me to really sidestep a lot of the other competition that's going after many of the other deals and really niche down and focus onto helping people overcome the obstacles in the probate process and make a handsome income while we do it. a lot of people are like, okay, well, give me the specific prescription, and we'll talk about, and that's what the probate and the pre-probate foundations classes that Bruce teaches really gives you that framework for play inside this approach, and you will be successful as a consistent approach. Now, there's definitely a runway to be able to start seeding the market with your marketing, with your phone calls. It's definitely, it can happen, right? There's going to be low-hanging fruit, but as we consistently market and we consistently speak with personal representatives and people that have inherited property, building that relationship is so key. And that's where the unique dynamic that you bring to the table as the investor or the agent is so powerful. And, for us to be able to just say, okay, well, you've got to do it this way and follow this exactly, there's a zone that we can operate in. As long as we have the intent, there's many subscribers that are customizing it specific to their business process and how they're able to approach this, because that's their personality. It's absolutely well within bounds that we're not going to give you a hard and fast rule, but we're going to work to be able to customize your approach specific to how you want to operate and how you are as a person and your unique specific market. So don't hesitate to hop on to a coaching call. If you've got strategy questions, hey, do you think this will work? Do you think that'll work? That's what we're here for. And we're coming up with some really cool things for our subscribers. And I think we're going to see a whole lot of closings and success stories in upcoming podcasts. So I'm really excited. Just know that you can adapt this specific to your situation. Just make sure that you keep the approach very much the same, but there's leeway. We've got to be able to customize this to fit you and the relationships that you have.
Well said. And before I kick it to Tim, if I could kind of summarize or play on the analogy that you used there, I even love the title Agent DNA. Every person has their own DNA. They have their own makeup. They have their own way of doing things. And your analogy, Chuck, of a runway, it's a wide runway. There's plenty of room within that runway to take off and get to your destination, to be yourself. And that's really, I think that's the X factor that you guys bring to this that I've never seen before in any other coaching. So congrats. Enough of the commercial for our awesome coaches. Tim, you wanted to share something.
Bruce had one thing you wanted to add. What was it, bud?
Yeah, so I was just, that's the beauty of being on these calls. And even when our subscribers and even non-subscribers dial in, you guys are going to say things or ask questions that just really activate the coaches on this call's creative juices. And we're going to be able to really give you some good value. So please do jump in the queue. But Chuck just said a couple of things that activated my creativity. And I just wanted to kind of tell you guys that a lot of people come into most of their business niches wanting to be a harvester. You want to come in and reap a harvest. And any business niche that you go into, any source of business, any source of leads that you go into, if you come into it treating that source of business like you're just going to step in and reap the harvest, you would be the type of person that does struggle in a niche. Anything that's worth doing requires seeding, and Chuck talked about seeding. It's going to take some seeding, and that work that you put in while you're seeding your ground, that's what makes this such a special field and niche to be in, is because you've got to realize that agents and investors around the country, and there's millions of us, are kind of lazy, all right? And if you're willing to put the work in and seed that ground, you will reap a harvest. If you're coming in and you're expecting to just walk into a harvest without seeding, you would be the person that probably doesn't make it. Those that we see that seed the ground reap a reward, and sometimes it takes 4, 5, 6 months. but you will see a reward if you consistently do the work. And I can prove that time in and time out. And that's really why we challenge you guys to stay active and stay consistent with it. The other thing that I was just going to throw in, Chuck kind of talked about our framework and us giving you a little bit of a map. The class this month, Jim said we were done with the commercial, but we're not. The DNA class this month is called DNA mapping. I believe that we need to give you a framework and a map to operate off of if you're going to see success. But there's an old NLP saying, and it goes like this. It basically says the map is not the territory. We can give you a map. We can give you a framework, but that framework is loose. You follow specific formulas, but there's a lot of room for variation. And people ask Chuck and I and Tim and Jim and all of us all the time, what letter should I send out first? What letter should I send out second? When should I make my first call? Should I make it on day 1 or should I make it on day 7 after my letter goes out? Which website's the best? We get these questions, and the answer to those questions is the map is not the territory. We give you the map, and your specific market, your specific personality, this type of business that you're trying to grow gives you the leeway to be able to flex and move in and out of that map that we give you, and kind of create your own territory and your own process for these things. We're just here to guide you and make sure that you're not on the West Coast when you should be on the East Coast, so to speak. I just wanted to kind of tell you guys that. That's a couple of things Chuck said, brought those up. And at this point, I'm just going to shut up and kick it over to Tim.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of tough to call these commercials when we're offering to give everything away for free. I think that's the whole point, is that we're doing everything we can to invest. You know, you realize that you're talking about talented, busy people who literally are devoted to what we're doing here and helping build your business, which, you know, helps build ours as well. But I think the main point here is that, you know, we're giving you all of this. It's not something that we're charging you for. You know, we're not trying to build money and nickel and dime you every time you turn around. We are trying to make sure that you're here for the long haul and that we're here for the long haul. And that's so important for you to realize, is that if you're not taking advantage of it, you know, you're paying for a subscription, you're paying for leads, you may be paying for other things. Not paying for training, or not getting training that's free is just crazy. I mean, it's sitting here, it's available from literally the best in the industry. So please deal with that. If you haven't signed up, do it. If you haven't been on them, you're missing a treat. And I don't care if you're the most experienced agent on the planet, you're going to walk away with something that you didn't know, that you never thought about, or you got reminded about. Same thing if you're an investor. It's like, you know, if I'd have thought about that the last time I was talking to Ms. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, I'd have walked away with that deal. So be aware of that. Come to training, enjoy, learn better. I just wanted a couple seconds. Then I'm going to also say, if you want to jump in the queue and talk to us and, you know, ask specific questions, get some help directly, *6 and hit 1 and jump in the queue, and we'll be glad to take your individual questions. Just listen to us drone on for a while is not the right way to spend this call. I just want to quickly update you on the status of pre-probate. We have begun rolling leads out. They are, in fact, in many of your portals. You've now seen the population of your first pre-probate leads. They're there. We'll be rolling more out as the rest of the week finishes up. And I think we're, you know, getting pretty well caught up on every order that we've brought in. The success of this has been phenomenal. We're excited about it. We have not done anything in our history that has certainly taken off quite like this, and we couldn't be happier with the way that it's worked. I think it's probably the best thing that we've done in a long time as an add-on to probate business that's there. It's a perfect adjunct to it for an investor. It's a great product, and, you know, we're very, very pleased of it. If you've got questions about that, absolutely be aware of it. And as we get going for pre-probate, we definitely want you to understand that you also qualify for the win of the week on pre-probate. We're happy to give you some dough back along the way. We're going to be pushing you hard to make sure you share your successes, because we know that the best encouragement that you can get is from, you know, your neighbor in an adjoining state or adjoining county that was successful, and here's how they got there. So we're doing everything we can to make this work for you, and we appreciate you. You know, I don't think we could ask for a better opportunity than to serve the bright people that we have, and you're it. So I know we've got a person in the queue. I'm going to be quiet and see what they have to say.
All right. Plenty of room, guys. Jump in the queue, hit *6 and hit 1. And just a reminder, as Tim said, the win of the week is available. It's not only available on this call. If something happens to you during the week and you want to message support@alltheleads.com and let them know, you'll be eligible then also. We prefer you to come on the call, but you don't necessarily have to. And we give you a bonus of giving $100 off your next set of leads. You know, good for you. It's not the $100, but every little bit helps. It's being able to share your stories and have other people benefit from them. So we do have one person in the queue. Jump in, hit *6 and hit 1. You can be next. First up is phone number ending in 7813. You're up first.
Hi, my name is Selena. I've called in before, rather new, and I just wanted to report that I finally I'm one of the ones who is in LA, and I keep complaining about I can't reach people. Nobody picks up the phone. I received a return telephone call from a telephone message I left, and she saved my letter from October. And that was the very first month that I did letters and joined all the leads. Wonderful things have happened because I've actually gone to court with the woman, which I really wanted to go to court and see how it worked and sit there. So it allowed me that opportunity. The property is in Inglewood, and I've suggested that they not sell the property so they can keep generational wealth. I now know the kids and actually feel like I'm part of the family. She's lived there, her parents lived there for 40 years, and although I won't be getting a listing out of this, we're going to do something else with the house. She has brought me to two of her her parents' friends, and I'm speaking with them about listing their homes. She wanted to do something. They wanted to pay me for my time and my services, and I said, no, the only thing I would like is a review. I need those desperately, and she said, we can do better than that. So I don't have the listings yet, but I've met with the people and we're sort of discussing where they go next because they're older. Each of them are older couples. So it does take a long time, and I still aren't reaching people on the phone. But if they're going to call me because of the letters and hold my letter since October, she's had it in her handbag. I'd say that's a good thing. Hang in there for the complainers like me. That's all. Because I've complained several times.
It was worth it.
You seeded the market, and it took some time for the harvest to start to come up. And then the other thing that you did is you provided value. So
I actually got her attorney. Her attorney, she not only had 3 people die in the family, and I won't take up everyone's time to tell this unique story. I'm actually going to write about it. But her attorney died December 10th. And she had 3 people in the family die in 6 months before that. So her nerves, maybe she just wanted me for my Xanax. That could be it too. But her nerves were just shot. The woman just didn't know where to turn to next. So I don't have the strong relationships I need with the estate people. I have some people that I've been meaning to call, some attorneys. So I actually just gave it to one of my very good friends because it needed immediate attention. So kind of lost out there because probably could have built on that, but I actually gave her attorney. So next time.
So you're recommending we drug our clients? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, when they can't pick themselves up and we need to find a will, in a house with somebody who's hoarded every paper since 1962. Yeah, she did. She's much better with the Xanax. Yeah. So anything that can work. Use whatever is at your disposal in your handbag, in your glove compartment. Just be ready. If that's a pharmacy and you got it, be that.
And then once they're really loopy, pull your paperwork out and be like, here, right here.
You just bore out the fact that it really is different in California, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. And it's just such a unique story because, you know, the house is free and clear, and it's in Inglewood. It's down the street from SoFi. The Clippers are coming in, and the kids are 29 to 35, and I'm like, we're going to get $700 out of this house, and you know, it's just, you know, you're either going to give it to me, we're not giving it to the kids, but hold on to this. This is really just, even if we hold on to it for 2 or 3 years, this, and obviously we'll put it in, you know, an estate. We'll finish it up when we get out of this probate. But yeah, I really felt like that was the best thing I could, and I think that's what really did it. When she said, "You're not telling me I have to list it," I said, "You're going to make a decision what you want to do, but this is what I would do if I, you know, if I were in your shoes."
Yep. If I were in your shoes is absolutely the right way to approach it. And, you know, the key really is leading with a helping hand in all of these conversations and identifying what are their specific goals and laying out the different options that are available based on how we can help them achieve their goals. Now, a key thing that you mentioned in there is the opportunity with these probate leads, because of the relationships and the nature of the business that we're doing, we have the opportunity to deliver the value and generate multiple referral opportunities throughout the years and continue to stabilize our business in the future years. So maybe not as much from an investor perspective, but that absolutely does happen too with different referrals. It's not just a transactional game. And that's where when I'm talking about, this is all about relationships, and it's how we treat every prospect from the time that we first meet them throughout how we handle their situation and how we provide the value and the service that we can to help them overcome the obstacles in the probate process that allows us the opportunity to build relationships that can continue to reap a harvest year after year after year. So kudos to you. That's fantastic. You know, keep going, keep working towards making those calls. The direct mail does work. And that's a fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And also one other thing, I have such a close relationship with this woman. We just hung up. I'm actually thinking of putting a 2-year tenant in there, so we don't have to deal with repairs. And then at that point, selling it because of her age and where the kids will be. And where I think the market will be. And we may even do something creative like, you know, an option to buy if they're credit. I mean, we talked about trying to help, you know, pay it forward. You know, what can we do to help others? And she really wants to do that. So we're going to put some thought into maybe who that ideal tenant would be. And then I'd like to secure and make sure that I do stay. I think she'll keep me in the deal, but sort of solidify that. So that's my thought process with the full play out on the Inglewood property.
I think that's great. That's great. I think the value that you brought here is that you built the relationship, and then you nailed it up by saying, hey, you know, I'm not going to make any money because this is not what I'm doing right now. I got some stuff I'll help you with long term. It'll work out well. And they came back and, you know, rewarded you by referring you to people that they trust. That's just about the best that you can get, you know. That's an awesome thing to go do. And seeking out relationships where you can get referred business, that's you know, word of mouth is probably the strongest form of advertising that you have. A trusted friend saying, hey, talk to Celine. She's honest, she's straightforward, and she's got Xanax. You know, is a great thing.
Great job, Selena. We normally require you have to have a transaction for Win of the Week, but I'll tell you what, that is the best example of providing value first that I can ever remember hearing. So I'm definitely going to nominate you for consideration. I know that's not why you're doing it. I mean, you could have taken one deal here and probably been done with it. And what you just described to me, I would be surprised over the years if it doesn't generate 3, 4, 5, 6 or more deals for you from everybody that's involved, from the referrals. So great job on doing the right thing, and you know, it will come back to you in multiples. So I really appreciate you sharing. Oh, you're very welcome. We have one other person in the queue. Anything else we can help you with this week, Selena?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Awesome story. Thank you very much. Next up, and the queue is empty, guys. Hit *6 and hit 1. But next up is phone number ending in 5420. Can you top that one? No pressure.
I'll try. Aloha.
Aloha. How are you, sir?
Okay, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, likewise. Yeah, and again, I want to thank all of you for, again, making the time, again, to have this platform for all of us.
Sure. What can we do for you this week?
Yes. I want to do what's best for, like we always want to do what's best for the client. So the situation is, the brother wants to take over the arrears for the brother's estate. This is another property. It's not the same one I brought up last week.
Okay.
And so the arrears is, $47,000 and change, and he also got a payoff quote, again, of $285, and it's about $30,000 of repairs. ARV is about $525. So I was going to ask you guys, should I have him apply with probate cash, or one of those guys that you guys work with for to get those cash advancement, or because he wants to take care of the arrears. It's about almost $48,000, and then just take over the monthly payments for the brother who passed. So he's going to do a loan modification, and I think that should be able to take care of the $48,000. So that was my question. What is the best?
You said
Bruce.
You said he owed what?
The arrears. The brother passed away about 28 months ago, so it's in arrears for 27 months. So it came out to about $47,350 and change. So he decided to.
What was
to get the. And then the payoff was about $285. To pay off the whole account.
Okay.
But,
so should we assume that now it's more like $335?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask you guys, which route would you suggest I suggest to this gentleman? What would be the best case scenario for him to do the loan mod, or to try and take care of the $285, through a loan or some other option.
Is it in foreclosure?
The foreclosure just started in January, so only the complaint went out, right?
Okay. Yep. Can he afford to do the loan mod? Are his debt to income ratios good? I mean, can he take this house over without financial? I mean, forgive me, guys. Does he have the finances to be able to take this over?
Well, see, this is where it gets interesting. He wants to do the loan mod, take care of that, and then he wants to either do something with, because I've been able to build a lot of trust with him, and he wants to make some kind of deal with me. So I'm not sure how to structure this, because so I'm not sure how to proceed forward with, he wants to do a loan mod, because he's already done the authorization with the servicer. So he wants to give me the deed, but I told him, hold up, I gotta get more, I gotta do some research, and so that's why I'm on the line right now to kind of figure out how to navigate through this in the most effective way that would make it a win-win, especially for him.
Yeah. Does he own another house?
Yes, he does.
Okay. So I think that one of the things we need to find out is if he can even qualify for a loan mod, because a loan mod is basically going to move title over to him, and it's going to put the mortgage, the new mortgage, in his name. And for all we know, he's not going to qualify for that. But we don't know that, so he needs to see if he qualifies first. If he does not, my next question would be, do you qualify? So if he wants to work a deal out with you, can you buy it?
Okay.
And do you qualify? And you don't have to answer that. That would be the next question you need to address is if you do. And if you do, depending on the deal that you wanted to work out with him, if you wanted to give him a piece of equity in order to sell it to you really low, you could do that. You could finance it in your name. You could put him on the deed with a particular amount of equity. That way he owns a piece of the property. Or you could work out a price to just buy him out completely. Does he want to have a piece of the house, or does he just want to be done with it?
Yeah, he wants to be done with it.
Okay. All right. In that case, so option number one would be if he qualifies to take over the mortgage and refinance the property into his name. If he qualifies, one of the things that you could do is you could get him to refinance it, and then you could do an option. You could go get a third-party servicer, and then you just owner finance it from him. He owner finances it to you. You pay the servicer, and the servicer gives him his due and sends the rest to the bank that has refinanced for him. Okay. Option number two is you just refinance it. You work out a deal and just pay him for the property. Give him his cash up front.
Right. Yeah. So how does that work if we do option B? I mean, I get option A with the option to purchase. Option B. So what would be the next steps? If we go with option B with him not doing the loan mod, or he gets rejected, and I step in. So is there any paperwork that I would have to? So what would be the next step so that I would be in a?
Yep. You're going to have to finance it. I'm assuming that the bank knows about the death at this point.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah.
So they want this thing resolved. If they know about the death, you were not a survivor on the estate, so you're going to have to either pay cash or finance it over into your name. If you can do that, go get a loan, work out a deal, whatever kind of deal you want out of it. Go get a loan, work out a deal. If you can't do that, you could always sign a deal, wholesale it to an investor that does want the deal or can carry the deal. Or you could go get a hard money loan. If I'm going to get a hard money loan, depending on the cash situation, you might want to get an equity-based lender that will not require 25% down. They'll count the equity in the deal as your down payment.
Okay. So, question about the payoff statement again.
Guys, I lost him.
Yeah, we lost him. We lost Joe again. Joe, we lost you. One thing that I was going to suggest to you, and we always recommend them when we can, we have a real good relationship with Navigator Capital. You can go to gonavcap.com. They are a very aggressive hard money lender. They only charge 6 to 8%. They're not a high interest hard money lender, and they will lend basically just on the equity in the property. Call somebody like that. I didn't really get the question he was asking when he got disconnected. Did you, Bruce?
No. Did anybody?
Okay. No, but the good news is, he's working the deals. He's coming across situations, and if you get somebody if there's equity and they're motivated, there's almost always a way to put the deal together. So, Joe, if you come back on, you keep going on and off, in and out of the queue, so you must be having a connection problem. But if you come back on, just email us, email support@alltheleads.com, and we can take the details of this particular deal off the call. Guys, it's a little bit early today, but we had two good callers. I'm going to give everybody another minute or two to jump back in. Anybody else, hit *6 and hit 1 if you'd want to jump back into the queue. Otherwise we'll wind it up early. Tim, anything you want to share before we go? Oh, we had another person jump in the queue. Got there under the gun, so now we got three people. Well, like I said, this call is going to go regular length, so we got four. Holy, like I said, we may run a little bit over today. Next, I love being fluid on these. Next up on the call is phone number ending in 8512. You're up next.
Hi, how you doing? Mine's going to be real quick. I just caught the tail end of what you were talking about in the beginning about the agent DNA, and I went on the website. I couldn't find it. So if you could tell me how to get on that would be great.
Yeah. Right now that we're building that into the site to register, it's not in the site yet. So call the support line or the sales line with ATL. I'll make sure that they have the registration links for the next class. The next one is going to be on March 23rd. So just give the sales line a call, and I'll make sure. Don't do it right this second because I don't have them the registration link to them yet, but I'll have it to them this afternoon, and then they can give it to you. At the moment, it's registration through Zoom.
I'll just call them tomorrow. What time of the day are these?
It's 2:00 Eastern time on the 23rd. Pretty much all the classes are normally going to be somewhere around 1 or 2 o'clock Eastern time.
Great. All right. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. We now have a full queue. We're trying to get to everybody. Next up is phone number ending in 9352. You're up next.
Hey, good afternoon, y'all. My name's Ricky.
Hey there.
I'm down here in Charleston, South Carolina, near the Mount Pleasant downtown area. This is actually my first time just hopping on the call, listening to everyone. It sounds great so far. Just my question is, I'm looking around for different interesting lead sources, and y'all's popped up. I've read your website. It looks great, and I was just seeing, you guys got coaching, you guys got leads for probate. I just wanted to see, kind of what the results have been, and then what you guys have found is the most valuable thing that's been provided.
Sure. And before I let our coaches answer, Ricky, I have a feeling if it's okay with you, one of our account representatives will call you back right after the call and kind of walk you through the whole program. Would that be okay?
That's perfect.
All right. We'll call the phone number ending in 9352.
And I'm going to speak briefly to the results, Jim. I know we've got a full queue, but
sure.
Very briefly to the results. And this goes to my comments earlier about seeding versus coming in to harvest instantly. We have people with varying different results, to be completely honest. We have people that come in and they quit in 2 months. I would argue that if you only have 2 months worth of runway, you probably will quit. We have people that come in and they'll stick for 8, 9, 10 months, but they won't do anything at all, and then they quit. And then we have those people that do exactly what we tell them, and they seed and they build a pipeline. And around that 6-month mark, sometimes a little sooner, sometimes it's 3 or 4 months, but normally around that 6-month mark, you look and you go, wow, I've got a great pipeline here, and they will convert 2-3% out of their leads, which when you're getting, no idea what market you're in, but when you're getting 100 leads a month, that starts to turn into 2-3 deals every single month once your pipeline is full and once your ground is seeded. So I wanted to speak to that because there are a lot of people with misconceptions. They think that they're going to walk in and close a ton of business instantly. And if that's the case, and this is kind of the anti-sale, but you'll be disappointed. I love that that's not the case because it really wipes out the competition. If it was always that easy, we'd have 1,000 different people in every market that was competing with us. As it is, there might be 2 to 10 people in a market that provides any kind of competition at all, and normally that competition rotates because they don't seed the ground. They're expecting a harvest instantly.
Yep. And if I could add to that, Bruce, you're setting a realistic expectation. Now, having said that, over the years, we have had people that, sent out a mailing, started making their calls, and got 3 deals their first month. But that's the exception to the rule. It really is exception. I'll never forget the guy who was on the call, and he had gone on his first month or two. He went on 5 appointments and got 3 listings. And we said, "Wow, what's that going to, that's great. Is that working better than your other lead sources?" And he said, "Well, I just got my license last month." So it's like, it's like anything else. You can buy a lottery ticket and win the first time, but the chances are that's not going to happen. It isn't unheard of to have people get immediate results, but it's not the typical. These leads, Ricky, season extremely well compared to other lead sources. There's a significant number of them that aren't ready right away, but they will be ready over the next 3, 6, 9 months, year. So this is a niche. Probate in particular is a niche where the leads season well, and it's really important that you develop a consistent lead follow-up system. Whether it's mail or calls, we really recommend both. But so one of our great people will reach out to you right after the call, and they'll take 5, 10, 15 minutes and kind of walk you through the whole program step by step.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, we have one more person in the queue, guys. Then we'll wrap it up this week. Thank you for your participation, guys. It's been a really good call, very varied and a lot of good subjects. Next up is phone number ending in 4943. You're up next.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello there.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Can,
I just want to say thank you. I have learned a great deal from all of you, and I'm still learning, so I appreciate this very much. My first question is the probate cash. I'm wondering if there's like a mailer we could stick in with our letters.
If there's
Tim?
Go ahead, Tim.
What do you mean? Specifically, what are you looking for?
Well, because in our letters that we send out, we send a copy, we send a free dumpster, and then I was wondering if there's like a way we could stick the probate cash also in our letters, like if you need cash.
Well, we've been adding probate cash as a paragraph onto the letters for, and I think we've just about caught them all up to all of our sample letters that literally add that to all of our outbounds. And if you'll just talk with one of the MISs, they can help you get that done and make sure that your letters match that, and it'll be fine. Now, having said that, you brought up an interesting point. And it's frankly, I'm just going to steal your idea, if it's all right with you. I think that's probably something that would be a great, in essence, coupon to add in. You put a coupon in for, what is it that you said you added? What are you adding?
A coffee dumpster.
Okay, so if you're adding that, I think that's great. And I think if you added a coupon for that, which basically explains a bit more about it, which is, need repairs, need this, need that, don't have the money. Here's a way to do that. No money out of your pocket, yada, yada.
That's what I was hoping for, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can put something like that together, and we'll take a look. If you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to drop a note to support and ask for that. Ask for the coupon that was discussed on the call. Ask if there's been any progress, and that'll get everybody's attention. And we'll put something like that together. That's a great idea.
Wonderful. And then I have one more question, real quick. So I know that we don't do scripts, and I don't like to do scripts, but the calls have been the most challenging for me to overcome. And I was reading this book, and it had a great idea on it. It's called The Introvert's Edge, which I consider myself more of an introvert than an extrovert. So, but in the book, he suggested that we have like story time, and I can flip those stories into the conversation much easier than reading a script. So I was wondering if there's like a review page where people can write their like testimonies or their reviews of what's happened to them and how it's made them like a success story, and that I can slip into conversations with people. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Where would you be looking for a review page? Would that be on your website, or what would that be?
On your website. So I can read the stories and kind of integrate them into the conversations of how we've helped people.
Got it.
Because I am much more, I can sell like help. Like I am very much wanting to help these people. But if I don't know, like if there's other stories, with all this information, I mean, there's tons of people that have so many unique stories that I'm sure I could like incorporate into the conversation, like how we helped them.
Guys, do you have anything on the anything there? I mean, obviously, the better stories are for you. They should come from you. But if you don't have any probate stories yet, then
I don't. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I'm still learning. I'm a baby here, so.
Well, I do. So.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I don't think that we have anything on the site, and Jim and Tim can correct me on that. But I personally have a few, and I think unfortunately I'd take up an hour's worth of a call telling my stories. So maybe reach out. I'll provide a little bit of a link. I'll provide.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
What's that?
So we can read, like, I know you have a ton of stories that we could read and be like, oh my goodness, that was a great help to that person or whatever, and we can kind of share it along the way with conversations that we're having.
Absolutely. So this is going to go. Let me just kind of give you one little tip for yourself, and then I would say talk to the team. Ask to grab a 15-minute call with me. I'll share a couple of my stories with you that you could use. But one thing that everyone needs to be doing, in my opinion, is keeping a story journal. Keep a story journal where any experience that you have, whether it's in probate or regular real estate, or if somebody cuts you off on the road, I don't really care what it is. If it had an emotional impact on you, you should write it down along with a couple of bullet points on the lessons that you took out of it. And those are the types of stories that I'll insert into a conversation. If I'm talking to someone in probate, I don't always use probate stories. I'll use regular real estate stories, or I will have kind of go-tos, and they don't have to be probate specific because stories really do sell. So I'm going to challenge you to write some of those stories down, even if they're not probate related, and have them at your disposal.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Perfect. And then, Tim, I know you had something. We have one more caller in the queue. So go ahead first, Tim. You had something you wanted to add?
Yes. I think, in every training and sales training I've ever done, I always refer to those things as that reminds me of. And one of the things that makes it very easy to drop something like that into the conversation is having, a wealth of those stories. Then, you often hear us begin to, some of our conversation, well, that reminds me of a customer that we talked to that did this or whatever. And it's an ideal way to drop that into the conversation. And it literally can be, you can find great frame of reference stories that don't always result in somebody closing a real estate transaction or anything else. There's all kinds of great stuff that you can just draw from a personal standpoint. The other thing about that is if you're concerned with not necessarily having a lot of that in your pocket, one of the things that you may be neglecting to do is to draw them out a bit more. And, asking questions of the customer, and I know you know how to do this anyway, I'm just using you as an example here, that if you're running out of stuff to say, get them talking more and talk to them about what their purpose is in terms of whatever their needs are going to be. If they say, well, we want to sell it for the most money that we can get, that's a great thing to talk about. And if they do, it's like, well, that's great. Do you have a purpose for the money? Are there some specific things that you want to accomplish? And one of the things you get out of that is you start putting prices on the things that they're looking for. And those are great things to get people moving, but ask more questions. Don't just wait on your stories. Keep the conversation going by asking them questions.
Ask questions. Okay. Thank you so much.
Perfect. And the last thing that I was going to...
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of those calls. The thing about it is that if you make the call and you blow it and the person, you get a bunch of dead air and there's nothing going on, that's okay. You got to break a bunch of eggs. And 2 or 3 times after you do that, you're going to get to the point where you're making omelets every time. And the conversations get easier and easier and easier. And you welcome the difficult questions and all of that. And it just gets easier. I promise.
Well, Jimmy, thank you. And a lot of people have said thank you so much for calling. They really appreciate the help that we're offering. So I was just.
Well, and and take this in a very positive way. You have a sweet, kind, and friendly voice, and you don't come off as someone who is going to, you're not calling them to try to hustle them. You're just calling, and people aren't going to be offended by that. They're just not. There are people that as well as I do. You pick up the phone and you hear the voice on the other end, and it sounds like somebody who's trying to pick your pocket, and you're not ever going to come off this way. So you've got a natural gift because you got a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
And the last thing I was just going to add, if you want to be 100% honest and you don't want to steal Bruce or somebody else's story, you can always say that, hey, that reminds me of a great story that my good friend or my colleague or my associate shared with me. It doesn't have to be yours. They don't care where it came from. The fact is that it applies to the situation, and your intent there is to help them. So that works just as well, or close, almost as well as your own story. I don't think there's much difference. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we opened, and I think if he doesn't bounce out of the queue again, we're going to close with Joe from Hawaii. Joe, are you still there?
Yes, thank you. Oh, that was crazy. I think I had to. I did maybe like 35 times. You kept on telling me rejected, and then I would get back on. I'm on, and it gets rejected. So hopefully, you guys can hopefully get to the bottom of the malfunction in the system if it's not somebody rejecting me. But I appreciate it. I just wanted to finish where we left off. I think Bruce had some suggestions about option A and option B, and I think we were talking about if the brother does get rejected for a loan modification, is Coach Bruce still with us?
Yep, and I think that if the brother does get rejected, you want to buy the house. He wants to be done with it. So the loan mod is the only reason that he would do that would be so that you can owner finance it from him, so he can owner finance it to you. That would be the only reason he wants to do a loan mod. You could do the probate cash and get him some cash if he needs it while you're in the process. But if he doesn't need the cash, you need to find a way to either buy the house cash, finance the house, or sign a contract and wholesale it.
Okay, and because the title is not in his name yet, how does that work, Coach Bruce? I mean, how would I be able, even if I did, so you would work with the payoff statement as a base on how much my offer should be from the 285, and then add whatever I'm going to add to, work out an agreement with how much he wants from the the transaction.
Yep. So add 285, and then add his cut, and so the question again was what?
Yeah. So if I did that, how would the title come to my entity as an example? So it would go from the brother to the estate to him, and then to me. How would that play out?
He should be able to sign on behalf of the estate if probate is open, and if the real estate is in the estate, he should just be able to sign as personal representative. So title doesn't have to go to him. The only reason title would go to him is if you take the house out of probate, then title would go to him. But if it's in the estate, if it's going through probate, the estate is going to sell you the house. If he can take it out, he can refinance it. But it doesn't sound like the estate needs to sell you.
Okay, and he also talked about subject to, but I don't think that's possible with some scenario this, right? Right.
No, not
right. Okay. Right. Yeah. So I think his first option is the option, again with the loan mod, and then the second option would be just do a normal transaction like you were talking about. Okay.
All right, sir. Does that help?
I appreciate. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. So happy to get back on. I was getting a little.
Okay. Well, welcome.
I was wondering what was happening. Thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
it happens.
Thanks.
Okay. Welcome back. All right, guys. I want to thank you all for being here today. We had a great attendance, good participation. I want to thank especially those that actively participated. I want to challenge each of you, take one thought, one idea, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. We will talk to you same time next Thursday. Take care.